Hi everybody, I'm Jen.
Hi, I'm Renee, and we're here for another episode of
Marriage plus
Business.
business.
So it's
Hey.
been a couple of weeks, I think, since we filmed an episode.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think last time we put an episode on the air, we recorded something was when we just got back in from Florida.
Yep.
This would
And
have
then we
been
interviewed the Hendersons.
Well, this was going to say this was at the very start of the COVID-19 shelter in place.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been since then.
And now we're in week 5 of shelter in place ordinance here in California. It's 420. You know, all the potheads are celebrating today. Today is 420. And now that it's legal, I'm actually considering joining that tribe. I'm not familiar with it, but you know what? It's tempting.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So
yeah. Oh, all right.
Just another day to me.
Another day. It's a Monday. But you know, a lot has gone on since we recorded last. What was it, the 24th of March? So almost a month. Whew. In our last episode where it was just Renee and I talking, we were talking about connections and how with the era of COVID-19, we are all sequestered to our own homes, not encouraged to go out. We have not been able to dance. Restaurants, if they are open, they're only doing curbside delivery. The recreational trail down here in Monterey is closed except for commuter traffic. And even if you are on the streets or on the trail, you are encouraged to keep at least 6 feet of distance between yourself and others. Even when you go to, I don't know, we're pretty close together. We are violating, but we're married, so just
we live in the same house.
Yeah, we sleep together too. Anyway, point is that we also, every time we go to the grocery store, there is a line and a limitation of people inside the business to make sure that the risk of exposure to the COVID-19 virus is reduced. And our whole normal is not the old normal. It's a new normal. It's a very interesting time. Although some good has come out of this.
Yeah, what's the good?
Well, there's not much, but I'm choosing to see the good because I need to. My sanity, I need to see the good. So, one thing is that after we did the connecting with other people episode of Marriage Plus Business, I got this really cool idea to start a new vlog called Connecting with Jennifer Filzen, where I am interviewing people that some of them I know, some of them I don't. This is open to anyone who wants to participate. But I ask 4 questions. What makes you special and unique? Who do you serve in your life? What is your why? And then the bonus question is, what advice do you have to share with the audience? And that's a fun little project. I'm meeting new people. I'm getting to know some people that I've known as acquaintances even deeper. It is a long format, so this is not something that you can get in and out of and get the whole conversation summarized in 5 minutes. It's somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're that type of person who wants to deeply connect with other people, perhaps you can go to jenniferfilzen.com and see the Connecting with Jennifer Filzen episodes. Yeah?
Yeah, that's where they're at. That's where they live.
Yep. And that's one good thing. It's like I'm creating something new. Another thing that is a positive is we have not been able to put together our monthly dances, right? So what we've done instead is...
That's not a positive.
Well, that's not a positive, but what came out of it is that we are doing Zoom or GoTo meetings where we get to connect with our dance community on a weekly basis. Every Saturday night between 7:30 and 9 o'clock, we get everybody on there, and it's so much fun. We've actually had Maui on the conference call with us.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to
We've
have
had people from all
3
over.
weeks of doing it, and we've had just a handful of people that are in our group. So the way it works is we send out an email to our list, and we don't necessarily advertise it, you know, on other media outlets, social media outlets like Facebook or on our website.
We don't want to get hacked.
Yeah, I think also like we just want to make sure that we're just kind of keeping it in the spirit of our dance community. Like if you show up to our dances, that's who the ones who are primarily going to go ahead and just kind of email and say, hey. And if it spreads, you know, if
That's
someone
cool.
decides to pass it along to someone else,
Sure.
it's welcome. But it's not like we have like 500 people showing up to this thing.
Not yet.
Not yet. But it's kind of nice to just be able to maintain connection and contact and just see people's faces
and hear them and like find out what's going on in their weeks. And there's a lot of emotions that we're all processing. The entire world has stopped, and it's easy to forget that. In fact, my Toastmasters group, Bayview Toastmasters, all right, Mr. Stopped, Bayview Toastmasters, we're having online Toastmasters group meetings, and we're also having social hour. And one of our Toastmasters is in New Zealand on work right now. So it's kind of cool because she's like in the future. She's in the future.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a day ahead. But it's really neat how video conferencing is like the new norm for how we do business. And I've also come up with a new idea. I want to do an online summertime summit because a lot of conferences are being canceled because of social distancing and the risk of exposure to COVID-19. So I'm going to create something new, and it's going to happen in August. And I put it out there to a bunch of industry leaders. And I said, do you feel like participating? And they're like, yeah. So I think what I'm, and there are some hardships too. I mean, this isn't all roses, but what I'm doing is I'm picking out the good of every situation because there is a lot of good coming out of this situation. I'm also helping 20 groups by just volunteering helpful marketing ideas.
What are 20 groups, Jen?
Oh, sorry. 20 groups are business owners that form in groups approximately 20, and they all have a coach. And that coach and that 20 group, they're all working toward a goal of raising their revenues and sharing advice and cheering each other on and looking at their key performance indicators. And it's just kind of like a select group of people who are intentionally working together to all raise the bar for everyone. And I have volunteered my time to join in on these various groups or associations or other networks of business owners, particularly in the auto repair industry, who are seeking marketing advice. And we're doing a service for our industry by giving a lot of freebies because we're all in this together. Renee has been putting together some beautiful promotional stuff for our clients who need a little extra help. And it's okay because we're all going to get through this together. And yeah, there's a lot of challenges too. I mean, I'm not proud. I had to lay somebody off. That was not fun. I've applied for the EIDL Economic Injury Disaster Loan and didn't get that. Didn't get the Payroll Protection Plan loan. So tapping into savings, and that's okay. I don't like loans anyway, so that's okay. Savings is where we're at. And I don't know. I think I'm just, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that with all the pivoting and changing and creation that we're doing right now, I'm hoping that we make the marketing business stronger. But then I'm also really hopeful, and maybe it's the pie in the sky optimism that I have, so forgive me, but I'm hopeful that I will look back on these days and see it as one of the most pivotal and formative and best times in the business. Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to approach what's happening in terms of like, what do I do? Like, you have to do something, right? So you can't just stagnate. So you gotta even possibly kind of reinvent, or just even just start doing, which is a lot of what like Jen was talking about earlier at the start of this. Was like she started this show and she's interviewing people and creating connections. And so like in this time, it's like it's always been important to reach out and connect, right, with your people, or to reach new people. But even more so because we're all like pent up, and like you've got to penned up, I should say, and we're all just trying to figure out like how to occupy ourselves. And like as creatives, the advantage, I think, or the ability to create things has never been better
Oh, right.
or more prevalent.
It's necessary.
And necessary too, because like you have this time, and like Jen said, we're working and doing things for the clients and our customers, but at the same time, because we have all this time, it's a really good time to kind of look inside and explore and figure out what it is we want to do. Or maybe it's the time to really get to dig in and drill in and kind of lean into the things you really like doing. So for me, one of the things I'm going to start doing is just creating more videos. I talked about that doing earlier this year, but I've actually started implementing it in just small ways. Like, and what I mean by videos is for my art, I want to create, and I have been creating, just little nugget-sized bits or chunks of knowledge that I'm just sharing out there, just to show like what it is in my process that I do when I create my art. So for that, it's a good way to keep time, to pass time, but to also be constructive with that time. And it's just something I'm putting out there. You know, I'm not looking to monetize it, but I am looking to just simply create and make more content. Like Gary Vee says, you know, just make it.
Just make it.
They may or may not come.
Make good content.
Make good content, and as long as I guess that you like and enjoy what you're doing, which might be hard during these times, because some people are lost. Some people are they're totally, you know, thrown off their normal routine, or they're way on the other side of what they would normally be on this, you know, whatever it is they're normally doing. So yeah, it's challenging times, but as a creative and as an artist, like, freaking love this time. You know,
He is so happy to be in his man cave doing his art, not seeing anybody.
As an artist, like, I'm so adept at being able to go for long periods of times of not having contact. Yeah. Because that's kind of what it takes. Yeah. You can't be an artist and say, I'm going to do something in an hour, and like I'm going to go out and spend 10 hours out doing this. I mean, like, I think a true artist who's actually going to be pretty good at their craft is going to devote and commit a lot of time into that craft. Yeah. And, you know, as an artist, like, if you're not doing that, if that's not the main thing that you're doing, then, you know, like, you got to love what you're doing in order to do that much work. So for us artists, you know, at least for me, with with what I do and what my preferences are, it's just like even more so just digging in and just getting in and doing the work I want to do, and being able to do it like almost undisturbed, you know, or without interruptions, I should say. Because that's kind of how the way I see things right now. Like, the whole world is in this lull, although I've seen reports of people getting pretty antsy. Yeah. They're health or wealth. We all make a choice.
Health or wealth?
Health or wealth. Yeah. So, I mean, either people are going to stick with this, or people are going to feel, for whatever reason, you know, hey, we got to get out and do this, and it may not be the most constructive way to do it, you know, jeopardizing their health for the sake of, you know, making a living. And it's not an easy question. It's not an easy answer, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that I have the answer, but it's just an observation that we're all going to have to make our own choices and decisions with this time to do what it is we want to do. Do you want to social distance? Do you like want to say, I need to get out there, I need to do this? And it's all valid, because everyone feels passionately what it is they feel. Yeah. So it's a puzzle with many pieces to it, and probably one that's not going to be solved immediately. But if you're, again, someone who is a creative type, I think, or someone who has some kind of viewpoint to put out, like, I think this is the perfect opportunity and the time to come up with those different avenues, whether it's a Zoom or GoTo or Facebook or YouTube, of just being able to either interact or watch more, or like become involved in a conversation online with something. So it's, I think, giving us the different appreciation for the technology around us, because never more so than now have we really been dependent on it, right? It seems like, from ordering food to connecting with people, because it's like the only way you can almost do it. You can't gather in mass crowds, you know, without social distancing, adhering to that rule. So I think, like, the opportunity, again, to just dial it back to where I started off with what I was saying, is like, it's a good time to be able to start doing stuff like this.
Right, exactly. Like our Marriage Plus Business blog.
Yeah, and you're connecting with.
And my connecting with Jennifer. And you know, you're right. Okay, so recently I've been kind of reflecting, because I've been wanting to create various things. I've always wanted to create various things. It's who I am, it's what I do. And I always am stretching past my comfort zones, trying to do new things, offer new products, new services, new. And I'll tell you, I am in Susie Carter's Global Leadership Program. So again, I'm in another 20 group where we have a coach and we're all learning how to improve our businesses. And some of these people are starting to launch their business for the first time because they have a regular job and they want to turn their side hustle into something that will sustain them and allow them to quit the original job. And we're finding that the things that we're learning and the things that I have been doing even before I started working with her as my coach, I've been doing online courses and I've been doing webinars and I've been working on Zoom and I've been working on GoToMeeting. So it's almost like all the things that I've gotten familiar with and was awkward with in the first couple of years, now everyone's doing this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, well, I may not be like the most expert person on this, but I'm not afraid. So let's do an online summertime summit versus having a regular in-person event. It would allow us to reach more people, and you don't have to purchase a flight, and you don't have to worry about a hotel room, and you can actually gather your team around the entire computer and you can all learn together. In some ways, I think that's kind of an advantage. So I'm not afraid to try new things because I know that my mission is to create a ripple effect of joy that will affect millions of people. And I have no idea, ripple effect. I have no idea what's going to stick, but if I don't create it, then how am I going to help people? I have to at least try. And it's kind of interesting, I've looked back on 2009 when I launched Rockstar Marketing, and that was born out of the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009. And I was launching my music and I started this thing called social media marketing, and I was one of the first adopters of it, talking to businesses about, hey, you really need to do social media marketing. This is a big deal. And they're like, nah, I don't need it. Now we know how important social media is. So my hope is that all this exploration and this marriage plus business blog and my connecting with Jennifer Filzen blog and all these things, like, we have no idea what it's going to produce, but I do know that there is credibility and good, solid, positive stuff coming out of the skills that we're acquiring.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and like Gary Vaynerchuk, we watch him a lot, and so he's like, I wish I could talk to myself when I started my very first, podcast or whatever. It's like we all start. It's all kind of wonky.
Yeah, he said something earlier, or one time about the person who is like at the top. Said what I would do is, this is Gary saying, what he would do is he would not, everyone knows who someone is once they've made it in a way, but like he said, what I would do is I would study what that person was doing
10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And see if you can find out or learn or understand, or
did they start something like this?
And then how, what the steps were or what the different pivots were.
Yeah.
So
what is that phrase? You work 10 years to become an overnight success. Yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah, I keep hearing that one. So
it's true.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of truth to that. Like sometimes you don't even know what it is that can develop, even though you have like an idea in your head of what you want to do. But I think that's the most important thing is like having like a goal for something, but then like always moving toward that goal. So like, let's say you have, like, you definitely have this goal here. The goal is right here. But a lot of times we're moving this way, and it's possible to go this way, but as long as like you're like moving toward that, it's like you can make these moves and achieve that goal, even though it seems like you're like shifting and moving, as long as you have your eye toward whatever this goal is. It's possible to not necessarily go at it directly this way, but to maybe go this way, go in a little, go out, go in, as long as you're keeping your eye on that one goal. So that's like, I think, how the overnight success happens in 10 years.
It's how life happens.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, it would be so cool if it really was a direct path. It's not.
I don't know. They say that we wouldn't appreciate it as much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, these are very, very interesting times, and we recognize that we are among the lucky ones. We have already been working from home. I own a marketing agency, and he already comes to the table with like amazing graphic design skills and website development skills. I mean, we already have something in place, and knock on wood, I totally am grateful and respect the fact that we primarily service the auto repair industry, which is deemed an essential business. And though things aren't rosy for anybody who is in the lockdown, you know, at least it's an industry that tends to be not recession proof, but recession resistant. But even that industry is going to be affected. But we have so many friends who are musicians and professional dancers and bartenders and waitresses, restaurant owners who are not even able to work, and our heart breaks. And we are, for those businesses that are still open, we're doing our best to support them as often as we can, because money is tight for all of us. But when we're really sick of my cooking, and when we know that we really need to help some friends of ours who own businesses, we are purchasing from them. But yeah, we can't wait for things to get back to normal so I can give really big tips to the waitresses that service at Sly McFly's and tip the bands that we dance to. I mean, our friends need our help. And these are, I recognize how lucky we are. And I hear and see what my friends are posting on Facebook, and God, I'm just so sorry. So we're coming at this week kind of summarizing what's going on, and we're like all positivity, but the hope is that some of what we're sharing isn't to smooth everything over and shove the suffering underneath the rug. That's not the goal. I had to do this 10 years ago when we were in the middle of the Great Recession, and I started Rockstar Marketing in 2009, and I was doing it because I knew that I wasn't going to have a job and I needed to pivot and shift and adjust. Now I'm 10 years later, I still have to shift and pivot and adjust, but at least I struck it out on my own. And some of the most amazing businesses in the United States started during a recession. So my challenge and encouragement to anybody watching is, if you have a dream and you know that what you're offering could benefit people, then go for it, because your ability to create is where your money is going to come from, not security in a job. The job itself is not what gives you security. It's your ability to produce. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing that you started doing your own art and left your employer in the beginning of 2019, because you've had a year's worth of ramping up, and now you're in charge of the media division for Rockstar Marketing. But like, I'm just so glad that you did it a year ago and not like, you know, a few months ago.
I think some people
that would have been really hard. Right.
You know, a couple of months ago, a lot of people are forced to do things that's not in their power.
Right.
So
right.
There's truth to that for sure, but it's tough nonetheless. It's tough under what I mean. It's a lot of hard work, and it's not always assured in either atmosphere, whether it's normal times or times like right now.
Right.
So it's always going to take work. It's just right now, I think it's going to be tougher, and I think, you know, I can only speak for ourselves, you know, that we're just trying to stay on top of, you know, what skills we have, trying to keep just in
always
touch
learning
with our friends and family and clients, and
staying
just
connected,
keeping ourselves busy. Like I don't want to think about this stuff too much, because if you do, then you will start thinking bad things, or start thinking maybe you're sick. So if for nothing more than like I need distractions. So I need distractions, which is work, are things we take for granted, like going out for a walk, going out for grocery shopping, which even now is becoming, that's a big one too, right? Lines outside the door.
Yeah, it's not a quick thing.
It's not a quick thing, Going to restaurants is a whole different thing now. You don't even really go to a restaurant anymore. You
pick up at a restaurant.
You're just shopping at a restaurant for food.
Like that's a good way to describe it.
It's the same analogy as like getting food. Socially,
it's all online.
I feel for people who don't have someone they live with that they like, or someone that they a spouse, or
an unhappy, or
and even that is just like such a box of like so many different possibilities, because like families who normally relied on school for the kids to be out of the house.
These are trying times for a lot of people, and
work,
we recognize that.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Who knew that people would be like negotiating for toilet paper? Like that would be the 2020 gold.
Yeah, for some reason, it's the first thing that got up. It's like, gotta be able to wipe my ass.
I don't
2020,
know.
Wipe your ass or wipe your face. You have a choice.
So some of the things that we're doing when we're talking to our friends on video conferences, or our dance community, or whenever we're able to just really let down our hair and speaking of hair, everyone's hair is growing. So Renee's wearing his ball cap because he doesn't like how long it's getting, but I think it's cute.
You can't see my hair right now.
I think it's cute.
Unless you go to Facebook and watch us dancing. I think there's a video of us dancing with my hat off. Yeah, his hair long is not really that long, but I like it. But what we're doing is we're asking, there you go. But we're asking people, okay, go ahead and vent. Like, what's the crappiest thing that's happened this week? And talk about it and acknowledge it, because we're all going through the most wide range of emotions right now. It's a combination of uncertainty and fear, worry, boredom, loneliness, a desire to clean like they've never cleaned before, or organize. Like, these are just it's a time for rebirth, right? So it's in birth, the birthing process is painful, right? Not that I've experienced it myself, but ask any woman who's given birth to a child. It was not pain-free, right? So it's an interesting process. But then also too, follow it up with ask, what are 3 good things that have happened in this time? And then that lifts people up. And then also too, another question that we like to ask is, what is the first thing you want to do as soon as this is over and you're able to get back to the new normal? What do you want to do? And it's really kind of cute hearing like, some people's answers are, I want to see my grandchildren, or I want that dessert that's at my favorite restaurant, and I hope that my favorite restaurant is still in business. So I'm going to go straight there and give them my money to make sure that they are able to open their doors and serve that wonderful dessert that I can only get there. Or for us in the dance world, we're like, God, I can't wait to dance again. And we're hopeful that Sly McFly's here in Cannery Row, I hope that they survive, and I hope that they bring live music back every night of the week, because we really had it good. There weren't many places that had live music 7 nights in a row, 7 nights a week, and it's, how lucky we are, and how, nothing is to be taken for granted. So those are some things that you can talk about with your friends and family, because I think it's important that we acknowledge what we're going through. Another thing that happened was yesterday I was on a conference call, Zoom call, with a bunch of female West Coast swing dance professionals. And it's a bunch of us female teachers, and we were talking about it.
And what was so nice was, you know, we were talking and we were sharing some ideas. And then we had a moment where we got real, and somebody was telling a story and she broke down in tears and she's like, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to cry. And I'm like, hey, it's okay. Show your vulnerability. We're all feeling how you're feeling. And then everyone started sharing how they were feeling, and there was some tears shed. But what was nice is that it was nice to acknowledge it, but it was also important to release it, because if you're always putting on a smiley face when the shit's hit the fan, then you're tamping down emotions that need to be released. So I am not a trained therapist. I'm only a facilitator of personal and professional development, and these are skills that I have found to be helpful for me and my community. So I hope that these tactics are helpful. And if you are feeling in the depths of despair, I encourage you to get help, and I encourage you to call the suicide hotline if you need to, because you know, there are a lot of people going through some tough stuff. And you know, if you can, channel it into whatever it is that you love, and you'll find that it's a nice distraction, but it also may be that career shift you've been hoping for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good points.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to share, or any advice?
You know, like, the only advice like I have is really like, you gotta just, you know, whatever you do, just take care of yourself. You know, be safe when you go out there. There's a lot of you know, there's a lot of like mental challenges when it comes to that, or whatever you want to, or however, how should I phrase it, like how we view ourselves, and a lot of that, I know there's a lot more to it than that, but like, you know, learning to be happy, I think is not something everyone is born with. I'm told I'm pretty much happy-go-lucky, and it's true, and like, I don't know if I was born that way or if it's just the choices I've made, and everyone makes their own choices, but like, just whatever you do, you know, just take care of yourself, and be kind to your loved ones.
Yeah.
Contact with them, check in on them. Yeah, I think that's important, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a business owner, one of the best things that you can possibly do right now is to reach out to your client base and just call them and check in on them and say, hey, was thinking about you, are you okay? Because that relationship that you've already built is getting fortified and strengthened in these times, and we tend to purchase from people that we know and trust, right? So if you are a business owner, one of the things I've been really sharing with all the different business owners out there is take videos and share it on all the social media channels, because videos are getting the most views, hands down. And just reach out to your community and try not to sell them something every single time. Just let them know that you're there to serve, and establish that relationship, and they will know that they can come to you. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is one of the shorter Marriage Plus Business sessions we've had.
Yeah,
but
I think it was perfect, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, we love doing this. I mean, it's nice because, you know what's cool is I just love talking with you about these things, because I feel like our relationship gets strengthened whenever we share these things. I mean, we're sharing our advice and stuff, but I just love hearing how your brain works and getting to know you on a deeper level. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm Jen.
I'm Renee.
Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.